Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video today, I want to talk about the trade war that is currently going on between China and the US. And I just want to cover a few topics, a few things that that's happening behind the scenes. In this video, I'm gonna talk about soybeans, I'm gonna talk about shipbuilding, and I'm also gonna cover some rare earth material as well and what's going on with that. Right now, the main thing that is going on right now that is hurting the U.S. economy, that's also hurting a lot of U.S. businesses, is the tariff war that is going on with soybeans. Okay, so American farmers right now are watching their harvest pile up with nowhere to go. I mean, no one is buying them. China, which used to buy half, more than half of all U.S. soybeans, they have not purchased a single bushel of soybeans since May of this year. So for soybean growers across the Midwest, this isn't just bad news, it's potentially catastrophic, meaning the world's most powerful nations are locked in an escalating battle over everything from, like I said, from rare earth material to shipbuilding dominance and, just all the other things that, we have so many problems in this country, but, this administration wants to start this trade war. Okay, American businesses and workers, everyone, we're all caught in this crossfire, okay? So first, let's talk about this soybean thing, okay? Here's the problem. Soybean farmers are facing financial ruin. I mean, some of them have committed suicide. Some of them are in complete, financial ruin, okay? Because why? Because prices of soybean have crashed more than 40% compared to what it was more than 3 years ago, all right? The math is brutal. China accounts for more than half of the soybean sale with $24 billion in U.S. soybean export last year. But this year, those exports to China have plummeted. I mean, they've just completely fell off. They've by more than 50%. Okay, that's what China. So we're looking at this video here right in this corner. So these guys, these farmers, they're hurting. Okay, and the numbers tell a grim story. All right. After President Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, so they're like, hey, China, we're not going to buy your goods anymore, and so on and so forth. China just retaliated. They say, okay, look, you're not going to buy us. You're not going to buy, we're not going to buy beans from you because you want to start this tariff war. We're going to retaliate. We're going to put 20% tariff on U.S. soybeans, making them prohibitively more expensive than those from South America. Chinese buyers have turned to Brazil and Argentina instead. With Argentina, they're like, hey, man, you know what? Oh, China, you don't want to buy from U.S. anymore. Buy from us. And you know what we're going to do for you? Because we like that sweet Chinese money. We're going to lift all export tax on soybeans so we can capture more and more of the Chinese market. You got, look at the screen here. You look at this, American farmer. This guy is hurting. He's got a family to feed, a mortgage to pay, all the equipment, all his things here. And he can't sell it. There's no one is buying. China is the one that's buying the majority of all our soybeans. American farmers now face a combined 34% tariff rate when trying to sell to China. The Trump administration has promised tens of billions of dollars in aid for farmers, but that support has been delayed indefinitely due to government shutdowns. Estimates from Republicans suggest that U.S. soybean farmers need as much as $50 billion. Okay, that's $50 billion with a B. Just to more than double the assistance provided during the Trump's first term when China previously imposed tariffs on U.S. soybeans in 2018. I mean, okay, so this happened before during the first term of the Trump administration. Now he's coming back here again with the same game plan, with nothing new. But this time, China was a lot more prepared. They kind of knew exactly where you're going to go, what you're going to do. They knew the game plan, and they prepared. And they knew exactly which strings and where to pull to hurt the economy. You see what I'm saying? Because between 2018 and 2019, those earlier retaliatory tariffs led to over $27 billion in losses for the agricultural export. So you knew that this was going to come. You knew this was coming. They've done this before. So they've shown that, okay, if you do this again, this is what we're going to do. And this time we're going to hit you even harder. All right. So nearly 50% of U.S. farmers surveyed in September believe that the country is on the verge of a farming crisis. All right. This is not smart. Why would you start tariffs? Why would you start a trade war with a country and products and things you don't produce? Why would you start a tariff war? I mean, China had already telegraphed this, okay, because they showed you exactly where they're going to go with this and what they're going to do with it. And what do? You do it again. And then what do you think was going to happen? China exactly was going to hit you exactly where they wanted. And that's what they did. They went right back to the old, the same playbook, and you were not prepared and you couldn't stop them. All right. So the other element also too that everyone's talking about is the whole thing about rare earth. Rare earth is one of those things is like, we need rare earth, right? We need rare earth for everything. All right. So not only just like, the China knew exactly where to where to hit America, where to hit us. So they knew agriculture was a vulnerability, and they knew rare earth is also a vulnerability because China has the industrial stronghold. All right. Earlier in this month, China announced a sweeping new export control on rare earth materials, making the most aggressive move yet in trade war. For the first time, China applied what's known as the Foreign Direct Product Rule, requiring foreign companies to obtain Chinese government approval to export products containing even traces of rare earth. I mean, less than 1% of rare earth. Okay, of products that contains rare earth of Chinese origin, rare earth material. These aren't just obscure material. Rare earth elements are the lifeblood of modern technology and military hardware. They're essential for F-35 fighter jets, Virginia-class submarines, Predator drones, Tomahawk missiles, and radar systems. I mean, you name it, everything. Your cell phone, like what I'm recording this video on, this microphone, what you're watching it on, your everything, your TV, your laptop, computer, everything. All right, all of that stuff contains rare earth. China controls 60% of global rare earth mining and over 90% of refining operation worldwide. The United States relies on China for about 70% of its rare earth imports. President Donald Trump called China's move surprising and accused Beijing of becoming very hostile, even though you went after them first. He threatened to impose an additional 100% tariffs on Chinese goods starting, November 1st, on top of the existing tariffs already averaging around 55%. China is holding the world captive by restricting access to rare earth metals. I mean, are you kidding me? You started with them. You started this whole tariff stuff when you hold that chart and you say, oh, China's going to behave. And then when China retaliates, oh, this is not fair. China's not behaving properly. I mean, you got to be kidding me. All right. So before this year, any rare earth mined in California had to be sent to China for processing. The United States currently has just one operational rare earth mine, just one, which is located in California. So there's one in California, this is rare earth mining, and also now they just built a magnet production in Texas. So they trying to, catch up. All right. Analysts warn that the economic impact could rival the COVID-19 pandemic. The United States is scrambling to respond, but here's the catch, here's the problem. It takes time. Okay, while the rare earth market is relatively small, valued around $5 billion according to the Department of Energy, building the infrastructure, as you see in this video, you see the many processes that this whole thing has to go through. Okay, I mean, you guys, I mean, it's insane. I mean, how are we going to compete with that? I mean, it's so technical, it's so labor intensive. It takes a lot of know-how to do this. It's gonna take years before we could even catch up to even start manufacturing this stuff. All right. So it goes from, but first you got to mine the whole mining process, and you got to go through the whole thing to extract some of the minerals out of there. And then once you get those minerals, then you have to send it to another processing area just to create magnets. I mean, and if we could do something like that, it would take, I don't know, it would take years. I mean, how much would that cost? And if you did try to compete with them, China would just lower the prices. You understand what I'm saying? Like they would just go, oh, okay, you want to compete with me? I'll just lower the price of magnets. I'm going to put you out of business anyway, unless the government comes in and fund the whole operation, which is going to be even more expensive. F-35 jets, which is like one of the most expensive fighter jets, whatever is worth, whatever they sell it for, $50 billion, $30 billion, because we're getting the cheap rare earth stuff and all those materials, all the things from China. Imagine if we were making that at home. The F-35 the cost would go up to like $60 billion. At that price tag, who the hell is going to buy that plane? It's not worth it. No one's going to want that. You know, I mean, let's finish watching this video for a second. I mean, this is so pretty. This is pretty cool. All this stuff that this, I mean, everything that it has that goes through the process of making this stuff. I mean, it's quite unbelievable. You know, your cars, everything that we use is rare earth, and we started a trade war with them, with China, as this thing that we can't make, and if we did try to make it, we can't compete. The price tag would just be too high, and if we did try to make some headway, and then China would just come in and undermine us, undercut the price. All right, so this is that. So the other area that China and the U.S., that another area we don't with things that we don't make, that we try to start a fight with China with, is shipbuilding. Okay, it's the naval arms race. I don't think that one is getting much attention in the press, and not much people are talking about that. Not too many people are talking about it. So the third front in the U.S.-China trade war is the open seas. Earlier this month, both countries implemented new port fees on each other's vessels, with charges designed to punish the other side's maritime dominance. All right. So the US and China, they're like, hey, I'm going to go, they basically, I think our playbook and our strategy is to try to slow down China's dominance and rise by any means necessary, even in areas and things that we don't even make ourselves. Why? I don't know. I mean, make it make sense. Good luck. So here's the reality. In 2024, last year, China built 53% of all commercial ships globally. More than half of all the commercial ships in the world were built by China, while the United States produced less than 1%. Okay. Shipbuilding Corporation, and the Chinese State Shipbuilding Corporation, the world's largest state-owned shipbuilder, built more vessels by tonnage in 1 year, last year, than the entire U.S. shipbuilding industry has produced since the end of World War II. I mean, think about that. China's shipbuilding capacity is now 232 times more greater than that of the United States. In 2024, China accounted for 55% of global ship completion and received 74% of new shipbuilding orders worldwide, meaning more than 70% of ships to be built subsequently will be made in China. China orders on hand right now. I mean, Donald Trump says, "Hey, we're gonna bring the shipbuilding back to the United States." Right now, more than 63% of orders on hand right now are in China. Okay, that's what's going on right now. China has that order. Okay, the Trump administration port fees aim to weaken China's maritime supremacy and to support U.S. U.S. ship manufacturers. What ship manufacturers? Like, what are you talking about? We don't make ships. We never did. We never led the world in ship making. In congressional remarks, President Trump pledged to resurrect the U.S. shipbuilding industry and establish an office of shipbuilding to revive both commercial and military shipbuilding. However, analysts acknowledge the massive challenge. In the 1980s, America's shipyard accounted for about 5% of global tonnage, producing up to 25 new ships. This is the 1980s. Okay, at least we still had some manufacturing in this country. We still had some, we still produced things and made things back in the 1980s. Okay, and even still back then, we were only making 25 ships per year. That figure has just basically disappeared. Now we're making just five ships per year. That's what we're down to for now. Okay. The stakes extend far beyond any commodity industry. So not only that does China produce the shipbuilding, but also containers. Also, the majority of ship containers are also made in China. China leads the world in ship container building. So then how is a farmer? I mean, one of the few things we still export, I guess I'm assuming, soybeans. So China controls shipbuilding, and they also control ship container building. So how is it one of the few things we still export is soybeans? So how is it that U.S. farmers going to sell their soybean to China when China has all the has all the containers and has all the ships? So how is that going to work? Okay, I mean, why would you start that kind of fight? You can't win. The International Monetary Fund warned on October that a renewed U.S.-China trade war could slow global output significantly when factoring in additional impacts like heightened inflation expectation, rising interest rate, and decrease in demand for U.S. dollars and also U.S. assets. The world is the global, and I've done a few videos on this. The de-dollarization is a real thing, and it's happening in real life. It's happening right now, and I'm surprised no one is talking about it. Most people have never heard of BRICS. All right. So the IMF warned that the U.S. GDP can decline by 1.2% in 2026 and 1.8% in 2027. All U.S. agricultural exports to China were down 53%, more than 53% in the first 9 months of this year compared to last year. American soybean export has plummeted by 23% overall, marking a 20-year low and a 12% decrease from the previous year. In October this month, Scott Bessent insisted that Washington did not want to escalate the trade conflict with China, suggesting that President Trump is ready to meet Xi Jinping, but trust remained fragile. I mean, actually, they did meet the other day. I mean, I'm going to do a separate video on that. I was embarrassing. I mean, Trump was like a high school girl. He was happy to see Xi Jinping. You know, Xi Jinping got that look on his face. It was just like, oh, I got to go talk to this guy. Like, he just was not interested at all. He had like a stone cold look on his face. I mean, Xi Jinping never smiled anyway. You've never seen his teeth, but at least he does like that, you know, he does like that smile thing he does. You know, you get that, you know, grin on his face sometimes, you know, go look. I'm going to show you guys a picture. And, you know, the next video I do, like, you know, see how he looks when he sees Putin or somebody else or Modi or whatever versus how he greeted Trump. It just was like this lackluster, like, oh, do I have to be here? Like, meanwhile, Trump is smiling. Yeah, he's a great guy, great leader, and she's like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot." It's a great video. So I'll play that for you guys next video. But yeah, so they just met the other day, and you know, he made all his announcements or whatever. So we'll go over that. We'll just, you know, I'll do another video. I'll just kind of like extrapolate exactly what happened there, and did we really win, or did China eventually end up winning? As harvest season progresses and storage facilities fill with soybeans that have nowhere to go, farmers face an uncertain future. The broader American economy watches nervously as the world's two largest economic powers test each other's resolve in a conflict with no clear resolution in sight. I mean, maybe he learned his lesson this time. He made President Donald Trump made a few announcements. But who the hell knows, man? Maybe tomorrow he'll wake up and start some other stuff. So we'll have to just wait and see. That is going to be all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you soon.